there before that when we started lacking a little bit, that's when our faith also decreased. But here it is, God is challenging God's people. And he's saying, when you don't have it like that, give it by faith. He says, I want you to bring unto me all of the time in the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house, tithe, which is a tenth. Let me give you a few points on tithing, and we probably don't need to talk about it anymore. Okay. Here it is. First thing is this: tithing is re-gifting what God already gave you. I used to think that people that re-gifted gifts were some of the laziest and unthoughtful people. Have you ever run across that? Some of y'all probably did it yourself. Look, you got something that wasn't all that and said, well, you know what, I can't run to the store. Let me repackage this gift. Okay, that's just y'all. Or is it just me? Maybe there's nobody in the building. Here it is. We re-gifting what God gave you. And saying, you know what, God, I trust you. That if you were good enough to give it to me, then you're good enough to keep me even though I'm letting go of 10% of what you gave me. Here, God is saying, I'm going to give you 10 things. All of it is a whole blessing. And I'm just asking you to cut off the top of it 10%. Can I be honest with you today? Now, if God had asked for 20 or 30 more percent, me and God might have some problems. God is modern to be honest here, because mathematically, I'm like, God, if he asked for 20 or 30 more percent, how much do I really have left? And I couldn't blame God for asking for maybe 30 or 40%, but all God says, I just need you to give me 10%. So give you 10%, and watch this, God will allow you to do more with the 90% than you could have ever done with 100%. Secondly, let me give you this. The tithe is not to the church. The tithe is a component of your worship to God. The church is the vehicle in which God has chosen for you to express your attitude of gratitude through your giving. So, no matter what name you put on the check, you ain't giving to St. Timothy. You're giving to the God that sustains St. Timothy. Let me help somebody. This ain't no stock market. You're not making no investment. God don't need your dime and penny. God will always sustain which God has established. Ain't no sense in walking around talking about, well, that's our money, we gave it. No, it is your worship. And if you cannot or would not take back a song that you sing, or a sermon that you preach, or a prayer that you pray, why would you have the audacity to talk about what I gave God is mine? It is your worship. And how dare any of us be covetous over worship that we give to God. Man, a God that wakes us up every morning. He starts us on our way. Gives us strength for our journey. Puts running in our feet. Clapping in our hands. Keeps us from flipping out on people. Last thing about tithing. There is no such thing as paying your tithe. No, I'm paying my tithes. No. God ain't got no bills. You couldn't pay God even if you tried. How can you pay God for amazing grace? How can you pay God for giving you a job that you didn't deserve? How can you pay God for healing your body? How can you pay God for making your enemy your footstool? How can you pay God for giving you grace and mercy? is an expression of our worship. Just as sure as you'll lift up your hand, you ought not shun the notion of taking that same hand, putting it in that pocket. Here's the thing, I gotta close this. You know, everybody don't like sermons on like this. But I at least, before I let y'all go, I at least wanted to touch the verse that I did read to you all. You know, my seminary will probably call me and take me all the way back to Virginia if I don't do that. Okay? So let me do that real quick. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. Here's my favorite part. And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Look, I hope in some way that through these next years that I and my wife will be a blessing to. But this is what I know, no matter how much we bless you, you'll still have some room for it. But here it is, God is saying, when you worship me through giving, I got something stored up for you. That when I release it on you, you ain't even gonna know what to do with it. It's gonna overtake you and overwhelm you to the point that you won't have room to receive it. Because you know what God does with your 10%? God doesn't spend it because he don't need it. God takes your 10% and he just stores it up on the shelf for you. And he takes that next 10% and he stores it up on the shelf for you. And then he takes that next 10% and he keeps on what? I need y'all to help me. And so here it is. What happens is when you find yourself without, when your bank account is depleted, when you got to drive from point A to point B on E, and somehow you still make it, when you can have something other than the dollar menu and know that God can provide you with a T-bone steak, that's that 10% coming back to bless you. And I don't know about you, I don't want to miss my blessing. I want my 10% that God's been saving for me for a rainy day. I'm finished. But let me just do this. He says, prove me. Now, my brothers and sisters, that is an expression in that day and age, which literally means put God on trial. Try God. And you know, I'm not a litigator by any means, but if you don't mind, for the next few moments, if you don't mind, give room for my spiritual imagination. Because I want to turn the sanctuary today into a courtroom. God is on trial this morning. The allegations against him comes from the enemy that says that God is a liar. And God won't do what he said he would do. And so I'm here, since I'm the only one on the microphone, I'm here to defend God. And I just believe I shouldn't be the only one that can defend God this morning. So if you don't mind, I've got some proof that I believe will get God off the hook. I've just got some evidence that I believe that will allow God to be God. Because God is who he said he is. And so if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, pretend I was Matt Locker. That's pretty good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have come because I totally believe in the innocence of my client. God is who he said he is. God will do what he said he would do. Now here it is. When I give this proof to the jury, I want you to stand up if you're evidence of what I'm saying. So when that evidence matches up with your experience, I want you to stand up and be a witness. You know, I used to hear the old preacher say, "Can I get a witness?" I need a witness this morning. Y'all gonna help me? Okay, Exhibit A, Your Honor. Exhibit A are those people who have ever been so sick that it seemed like they could not get well. Those people that have been in the hospital and the doctor folded their arms and wrote them off and did not believe they would live to see another day. Exhibit A, my brothers and sisters, is you've experienced God's power. Is there anybody in the room today that you didn't think you were going to make it, but you know that God has power? Is there anybody that can stand up and be a witness that I've experienced God's power? That God can pick you up and turn you around and place your feet on solid ground. Is there anybody that can testify to witnesses. The verdict is in, and it says God is innocent.